Hello, dear ones. Father Peter John Gilquist here, coming to you from All Saints Orthodox Church in Bloomington, Indiana. Christ is in our midst. Today I want to talk about another saint of America, Saint Herman of Alaska. I'm going to show you his icon here. Saint Herman lived in the end of the 18th century, beginning of the 19th century. He came to Alaska as part of a mission team from Volom, Russia, from Volom Monastery in Russia. They arrived in 1794, and when they came to America, they found, these monks, they found that things were not as they expected. They were told that there would be a church there waiting for them, for there to be services conducted, etc. But when they arrived, there was nothing like that. It was all very, very primitive and rough. So, St. Herman got the opportunity to do something very, very special. He got to live as the first desert father-style monastic in America, but also he got to minister to people. So he got the interaction of these two very special callings in life. I'm going to explain that just a little bit. So first, to the desert father style monasticism. Father Herman of Alaska, we call him father because he was a monk, but he actually wasn't a priest or a bishop. He was just a simple lay monk, and which means he wasn't ordained. So he lived a very, very simple and ascetical life. When I say ascetical, I mean denying yourself. Jesus says, if you would come after me, deny yourself, take up your cross, and follow me. And so when we talk about ascetics, we talk about people who deny themselves certain things. Like, you want a bowl of ice cream? Deny yourself. And you want to watch 16 hours of TV tomorrow? Deny yourself. You want to eat meat all the time? Deny yourself. So when we do fasting and things during the fasting seasons, that's what we're doing. We are practicing asceticism. We're practicing denying ourselves, our impulses and our urges. Which, by the way, when we learn to deny ourselves in these little things, then when greater temptations come along, we've been strengthened to face them with more power. So, that being said, he lived this simple life. He lived in what was called a barabra, which was a hole in the ground covered with something. And then he, we're told, had a rock for a pillow and a board for a blanket. Now, we're not talking about sleeping on the beach in Florida. Okay, we're talking about Alaska, Spruce Island, Alaska, which is an island off the island of Kodiak. I mean, largely inaccessible because of weather and very difficult living. But this is where he lived. So instead of living in the desert of Egypt or something like that, or Palestine like the Desert Fathers, he lived in the desert of Alaska. Desert in that sense just meaning deserted. I mean, it was, he lived in the woods, and it was not a very highly populated island. So he practiced this ascetical lifestyle there, and one of the things when I talked about, he had not only was able to live as a desert father on American soil as the first desert father, but he also got the opportunity to serve those in need. And specifically, he came to America, not just because he was looking for a nice place to build a monastery or something. He came to America as a missionary. And his job as a missionary, he determined, was to take care of people. And so he did. He took care of people, and he advocated for the Native Alaskan people when the Russian fur traders took advantage of them. And so he advocated for them with the Russian government, trying to help them. And also, when Russian fur traders brought diseases that the immune systems of the Native Americans were not prepared for, and so people began dying, a lot of adults died, then St. Herman took it on as his podvig, his spiritual struggle, his calling, to care for the orphans. And so that's what he did. He loved them as his own children, and he cared for them, and he taught them all about Christ and all about the church, about the saints, the scriptures, and all these good things. And so St. Herman of Alaska is a very, very special and somewhat unique saint on American soil, because he brings this wonderful spirit of monastic asceticism from the desert. He brings that, and then also uses his gifts to outreach to those who are in need, to truly be an embodiment of love for them, not just to teach them or just to preach at them, but really to be in the trenches with them, to be comforting those who are grieving, and to be rejoicing with those who are rejoicing. So St. Herman of Alaska is a great advocate for us. Let us continually ask his prayers and his guidance, especially during these somewhat tumultuous times that we find ourselves in. Through the prayers of our Holy Fathers, O Lord Jesus Christ, our God, have mercy upon us, and especially through the prayers of St. Herman of Alaska. Christ is in our midst.